Veterans and Human Services Committee at 7 p.m. Members present, Councilor Waterman and Councilor Blair. I'd like to call up Susan Williams, for Council on Aging.
Hello, good evening. Good evening.
We might need, I don't know, is there a microphone there? Or? Yeah, okay.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Good evening. My name is Susan Williams. I'm
Michael,
actually.
you gotta go tell him, excuse me.
That's okay.
I don't think the mic's on. Anybody else here?
Can you hear?
I can hear.
No.
But
I have a very low voice.
She has a soft voice.
I do. As tall as I am, I just.
Good.
I'm just tall in presence, but I. So can you hear me? You want me to talk louder?
No, you're fine.
It's on.
Yeah.
My mistake.
So my name is Susan Williams, and I just recently moved here. Not recently, about 5 years ago. I actually lived in Boston, Massachusetts. My career is in elderly care. So one of the questions I know that you guys asked was one of the reasons why I was interested in elderly care. And this stems back like 30, 40 years ago. I'm the last of 17 kids. My mom used to bring me to work with her. That was when we were able to go to work with our mom. And I just remember just walking down the halls and seeing the elderly clients in the chairs. And I used to say to myself, oh, I'm going to fix them. I'm going to move them and make sure that they're protected and cared for. Somewhere along that line, I ended up getting into nursing school, went to nursing school for about a year. And my dad actually ended up with cancer, and I ended up becoming a respiratory therapist. From there, I went into long-term care where they didn't have respiratory therapists. So that's where I really started my career of working with the elderly. About 10 years of doing that, I ended up becoming a nursing home administrator. I recently, in 2017 and 18, took over the nursing home around the corner. It was called Garden Place at one time. It was also called Golden Living. And somewhere along, when COVID came around, when we were actually isolated from our family, obviously I had to sit in front of my elderly clients and explain to them why they couldn't be home with their parents. Why they couldn't be home with their loved ones, which was very heartbreaking. I pride myself on being a protector for them and making sure that they had the resources and that they had a voice in the community, despite being in the situation that they were in. Fast forward 2 years ago, I just opened my own home care agency and staffing agency just down the street. It's a non-medical home care agency where we provide home care for individuals, mainly elderly and seniors, to live independently at home with minimum services, and I'm absolutely in love with that. My career also has taken me to become a certified geriatric care manager, where I can also oversee elderly or seniors' finances, assist with financial planning as well. So that is my history on why I am so passionate about being in the elderly field. And also, at some point or another, maybe in the next 10 or 15 years, I want to be able to have somebody who is as passionate as me to be on a board to speak and actually give our elderly clients a voice.
So I've known Susan for probably just about right when you probably moved here, or pretty close after that. And obviously I've seen her in work at the retirement home, and I could clearly see with your interactions with the people there and how much they cared about you, how much they liked you, and how much you obviously cared about everybody there and stuff. I was obviously impressed with everything. And one thing you didn't tell everybody is that you're a fitness buff, and I think you do training too as well.
I do. I'm actually a personal trainer and a certified nutritional coach, and I actually add that into my business. So when we go out into the community or we go into someone's home, we make sure that we prepare them a nutritionist meal. Just last week also, I'm a member of the Attleboro Rotarian Club, and we were at the YMCA passing out meals and preparing meals for them. So it's something I just love to do.
That's awesome. Any, Councilor Conti?
Susan, you knew I was going to say something.
I knew you were. We were cutting onions together last week.
Yes, I didn't tell you that I was on the municipal council.
That's okay.
My question for you, Susan, is that are you familiar with age and dementia-friendly designs for infrastructure?
I am somewhat, but I have to say that it would be based on just the nursing home concept of what we need. So in our nursing home, most nursing homes have a department or a unit called memory care or dementia care. So with that being said, I'm actually a certified dementia practitioner as well. So that with that, as far as our nursing homes in the units, there's certain things that we have to do in order to accommodate our dementia residents. So for instance, if there's doors down at the end of the hallways, we don't leave the doors wide open. We don't keep a lot of glass. What we do is we cover those doors up. As far as the walls and so forth, we try to make sure that there are memorable things that they can remember as they're going down the halls and so forth like that. And we also don't keep shiny floors.
So I attended the Massachusetts Municipal Association trade show this past weekend.
Oh.
And one of the booths there was on this age and dementia-friendly environments. And it was new to me, and so I got a quick debriefing. But I did pick up these 2 brochures, which I want to give to you, Susan.
Thank you.
So if you would take these. Because on your role on the Council of Aging, you have an opportunity to affect some change in the city of Attleboro by advocating for age and dementia-friendly environments. And I would encourage you to do so.
Okay.
And thank you for volunteering for the position.
I appreciate it. And I
I had a
also,
lot of fun serving the food kitchen with you on last week.
you was a great sous chef. You did an
Thank you.
amazing job.
Thank you. You're very kind.
And I'm glad that you were able to share this with me because I'm actually taking another class on my certified dementia practitioner. At some point, I want to do the national level, so that's something I want to look into.
Wonderful.
Councilor DeSimone?
Yes, I'll just keep it short. Susan, you sound like you're going to be a fantastic addition to the Council on Aging Board, and we're lucky to have you, and I thank you very much for your service to the city.
Thank you. I am so happy to be on the board, if awarded it.
Councilor Waterman?
Well, we met at the senior center
We did.
several months ago when you were sitting in and getting to understand what the Council on Aging is all about. And it's about a lot of different things.
It is.
And what has surprised you with what you've seen so far through the Council on Aging? Anything?
I would have to say that I was very surprised at how politically driven it was, compatible. I didn't know that it was so driven by the politicians in the community and how you guys actually work together. So that was something that
Okay, the connection between...
the connection that you guys have, yeah.
Well, that's important. We want to make sure it's funded accurately, and there's also a ton of grants that they need. We have a new acting director as of 2 days ago.
Oh, great.
Assistant director,
Oh,
I should
okay.
say.
As I
Yes,
said, I didn't
we
hear.
can't appoint an acting
Okay.
director yet. But you'll notice as you get more involved how active the senior center really is and how much they're into physical workout now,
Yeah.
which is it's expanded markedly in the last few years. But what you're bringing with dementia and your background there, that's a very valuable addition in knowledge and skills that I'm sure will use you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you very much, Susan.
Thank you so much for having me tonight. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. From the docket of January 17, 2023, I entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Susan P. Williams, 19 Brookwood Road, to fill an expired term on the Council on Aging, term to expire February 2027.
Second.
Thank you, sir. Well, obviously, we just heard. I think she's fantastic. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right. And that's all we have for Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee. I call for adjournment at 7:09.
Second.
All right. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 7:09.
Okay, the License Committee will meet at 7:09. And we have one item of business this evening. On the docket of January 3rd, 2023, I would entertain a motion to approve the Class 2 license application from Tyson Auto, Inc., 833 Washington Street, with 10 customer parking spaces, 55 display spaces, and 48 storage spaces.
Second.
We met with the owner and his brother, who are sharing this business last week. And personally, I'm very pleased with them. They appear to me to be very dedicated to doing a good, solid business and becoming part of the Attleboro business community. But are there any questions that any of the council, committee or the council might have? Okay. I would call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I am in favor. So that passes 3-0. I will call for an adjournment.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
And it passes 3-0. We are adjourned at 7:11.
I'd like to call the Finance Committee to order. Sitting on this committee are Councilors Cobus and Councilor Reynolds. I have 6 measures to bring before you this evening. Starting with, from the docket of February 7th, 2023, I entertain a motion to approve the expending such funds and any future grant amendments regarding the EOPSS Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds.
Am I voting? I think I'm on this committee now.
I think you are on this committee now, Councilor Bowen.
Yes.
My apologies.
That's all right. I just didn't want to say
I think this
yay
is the
and-
first night that you're actually on the committee, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So-
Welcome to the committee, Councilor. So I stand corrected. Sitting on the committee are Councilors Reynolds, Dolan, and myself. Councilor Cobus is acting president, and he's a member pro
Recuse
tem.
myself, yes.
Correct. So this EOPSS Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program is wonderful that we got the grant. The capital improvement plan included something similar, yes,
That's a public safety item, I put it on both of
and
yours.
it's a public safety item, so we will not,
Sorry,
if you would withdraw your second, Councilor Reynolds.
I withdraw my
wonder
second.
what else I've done.
Thank you. We'll put that in public safety,
That's a grant we get every year.
right? So you can talk about it in a few minutes.
Very,
From the docket of February 7th, 2023, I entertain a motion to approve the balance of $4,554 in Fund 3231, anoxic mixer be closed for the wastewater enterprise Fund 6000.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds. It's pretty self-explanatory. The anoxic mixer has been purchased and installed, and they have $4,554 left over. So, any comments or discussion? Seeing none, the motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. From the docket of February 7, 2023, I entertain a motion to approve the balance of $10,780 in Fund 3313, Water SCADA, and if my memory serves me right, that stands for the computer system that runs the water department. So the SCADA project be closed to the Water Enterprise Fund 6100.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds. Same thing, the auditor's trying to close some accounts, she's got a balance left in them, and they all move into where they belong. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. I entertain, from the docket of February 7, 2023, I entertain a motion to transfer $515.04 from account 112410000-578300, Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer, to account 112410000-578220, Citywide bills from previous years in order to pay a fiscal year 22 invoices to Constellation New Energy.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds. This should be the end of that. It being January, and we're now 7 months into the fiscal year, but this Constellation New Energy invoice obviously was being disputed, and it's ready to pay. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, the motion's in order. I'll call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. From the docket of January 17th, 2023, I don't need to read that one at all. That's about the capital improvement, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. From the docket of January 3rd, 2023, I entertain a motion to accept Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40, Section 13D, which became effective on July 3rd, 2022, and it provides for any city, town, or school district to adopt this section and establish a reserve fund for the future payment of accrued liabilities for compensated absences.
Second.
Thank you. So additionally, I entertain a motion to appropriate $500,000. Whoops, we should vote on that first, I think, because I need to divide these. So the motion is to accept Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40, Section 13D. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. From the docket of January 3rd, 2023, I entertain a motion to appropriate $500,000 from General Fund Undesignated Fund Balance 1000-359-000 to Fund 2517, Reserve for Compensated Absence, to fund the general government share of compensated absence liabilities, and to further appropriate $16,790 from the Wastewater Enterprise Fund Retained Earnings Account 6000-359000 to Fund 2517, Reserve for Compensated Absence, to fund the Wastewater Enterprise Fund share of compensated absence liabilities, and to further appropriate $13,260 from Account 6100-35900, Water Enterprise Fund Retained Earnings, to Fund 2517, Reserve for Compensated Absences, to fund the Water Enterprise Fund share of compensated absences. The General Fund, the Water Enterprise Fund, and the Wastewater Fund Enterprise Fund will be accounted for separately within Fund 2517, Reserve Fund for Compensated Absences.
Second.
So, to explain to the population who may not understand compensated absences, in the city, the contracts we have with the 7 unions allow people to build up time while they're working for the city, that when they retire, they can receive a lump sum payment. Some of these lump sum payments can be significant, well past 5 figures. And I'm guilty of it myself. In the city of Taunton, I have a major bank of time that I've not taken. And it's contractually mine, and when I retire, I will put in for the time to be paid. So in the budget system, there has to be enough money in the system to be able to pay what we think is outstanding in the compensated balances. So as you accrue sick time, as you accrue vacation time, and you don't use it, somebody needs to be looking at that to figure out how much is going to have to be eventually paid when you leave. And that's exactly what this is all about. So we're moving $500,000 from the general fund, undesignated fund, into Fund 2517, which is going to take care of the compensated, it is called the Compensated Absence Fund. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Councilor Deason.
Council Conte, I'm just curious, does the city cap it? I know at the state level, a few years ago, they enacted a cap.
There is no cap.
Do other municipalities have a cap?
There's no cap in Taunton, so I see it in both cities that it's, and I have seen checks go out the
Right.
door for 6 figures.
That's why the state, I think, enacted a cap a few years ago. But anyway, okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, the motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. Finally, a little discussion on the capital improvement plan. I hope that you've had opportunity to take a look at it. There are a few things in the capital improvement plan that we've already funded this year through Public Works. And I've put together a spreadsheet, and I think I've sent that to Virginia, so she has it. If you, Councilor Reynolds or Councilor Dolan or any other councilor has put together a list of priorities, I certainly would like to see it. And after the public hearing, we'll have a discussion about a message that we want to send to the mayor on the capital improvement plan. And that concludes my comments on the plan. Does anyone have anything else to bring before the committee at this time? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's in order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I declare the Finance Committee adjourned at 7:20.
I'd like to call Public Works to order at 7:20. I'm next, right?
You are.
Just want to make sure. Okay. Thank you. I have two motions this evening from the docket of February 7th, 2023. I entertain a motion to appropriate $49,000 from account 6100-359000, Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to Fund 3339 PFAS for design for temporary PFAS treatment at Wading River Plant.
Second.
Thank you. I left you both a breakdown of what the superintendent of water provided for information on this, and I also sent it to Virginia to send to the rest of the council so that you guys can take a look at it before we bring it before the full committee. So everybody knows the PFAS treatment and everything that we've been doing at Wading River. I don't know how much, if you read this, do you want me to get into this? Go ahead.
Just, because originally they were trying to hire a contractor and do it all together, and then they found out that wasn't gonna work, and unless I'm wrong, that they decided that we were gonna build a site, we were gonna do that first, or was that different? With the,
Well, when you say build
cover.
a site, they do have a temporary building. This is part of
yeah,
that.
the building, yeah.
Yeah,
that
this
was
is,
that, yeah.
this money's part of that.
Yeah.
If you, I know you probably didn't have time before the meeting to read it, but, hold on one second. The building is part of that. So they were originally gonna go with something smaller, but they ended up going with a, temporary equipment. Hold on one second. So the temporary facility is expected to be operational, and the tent was changed to a prefab. Originally it was gonna be a tent, cheaper. Now it's a prefab metal building, which resulted in extra design needs for the concrete slab for the facility, so on and so forth. Winterizing, heating needs, and then Mansfield also had, since this is in Mansfield, they had some requirements that they wanted the water department to do. So they took care of that. They have additional hours that needed, that's coming out of this 49,000. And then they have the water quality report, which they did not expect from past samplings, but there's more organics and manganese. So it caused the PFAS filters used during the pilot study to be blind and clog, and didn't get good readings, and they happened much quicker than they expected. So they have the structural engineering services of 13,000, stormwater management site work, which is what Mansfield's requiring us to do, is $8,000. Coordination of design for winterize the prefab building, that's 5,000. And review raw water data, review pretreatment equipment options and design equipment is 11,500. Conservation Commission coordination 3,000, and site plan application is 8,500. Does anybody have any other questions on this? Okay, so if nobody has any more questions, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Any nays?
No, I
Oh,
voted
I didn't.
yes.
I didn't hear you. I couldn't hear you. So motion passes. And the next item I have from the docket of December 20th, 2022, I entertain a motion to approve the following loan order for a new front-end loader for the water department.
Second.
I'm just gonna read the rest of it.
Okay.
The ordered that $355,000 be appropriated for the cost of purchasing and equipping a front-end loader. That to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, along with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $355,000 under section 7(1) of chapter 44 in the general laws, or any other enabling authority, and that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary to carry out this project.
Second.
Thank you. So we had the public hearing on this last week, and we heard the superintendent of water speak. So this loader's almost 40 years old, 39 years old. It's used by the distribution crew for water main breaks and scheduled repairs and hydrant replacements, for the maintenance crew and snow removal. This piece of equipment was passed down from wastewater in the 90s. Obviously, we don't want to use retained earnings for something this expensive because, as we know, when the water department has an emergency, they need money in their retained earnings to pay for it because these, the money needs to be available immediately. And then again, the bonding options are going to go through Deb Gold, the Jeremy Stahl, the budget director, and Laura Gignac, who will go out and figure out, as Deb told us last week, the best course of action as far as how long to take the loan for and the best loan option, so on and so forth. And that's most of what I have for information. Unless does anybody have a specific question?
Yes. So is this to be shared with the wastewater department?
No, not that I'm aware of, but it will be shared. It's available for other departments to use. So it will be available for like DPW. I guess DPW needs it occasionally as well. I'm looking for it right now. Yes, the wastewater. So it says this piece of equipment is also used for snow removal operations at the water department, as well as being available for DPW and wastewater departments to borrow if their own equipment is out of service.
Thank you.
Council Blair?
First of all, I think there's some regulations that we're overlooking. You can't loan that equipment out to the city per se. That's just like their vacuum truck. Can't be used to suck out drainage because that's an enterprise system. We share equipment, but we don't share with the enterprise system legally. That's one question.
So it could be shared with the wastewater.
I think so, but it can't be shared with the city. We went through that with that, if you remember.
I do remember. That's
Okay.
why I asked the question if it could be shared with the wastewater department. And she confirmed that it could be.
I
because they're
think
both
they work
enterprises.
together
Correct.
if they can.
Correct.
But as far as the rest of the city using it, not legally.
I can find that out.
I know it for a fact, but you can research it. I'd appreciate it if you do it. My other question is, the financing for that particular piece of equipment ultimately affects the ratepayer. I think there's a better way to finance it if you actually come to the point that we think it's a needed piece of equipment. I'll give you a couple avenues before the meeting's over that I'd appreciate you check out or call for a site visit. I'd like to personally look at it myself.
So we could have looked at it at, any time, before the public hearing, after the public hearing. I mean, I'm happy to set it up, but,
I'd appreciate if you set it up, and Michael, I think you ought to go. I'd appreciate it if you pull your second, because I don't particularly am in favor of spending that kind of money when I think there's an alternative.
and what's the alternative?
I don't think you need that big a piece of equipment down there to load a truck, and basically, that's all this unit does. It doesn't go out on the road for a regular water main break. They have a backhoe that goes out on the road for the back breaks. This is used to load the trucks down there if they need fill. They have a fill supply down at the water department that they fill a truck, bring it down and dump it. They load the truck down at the site with their backhoe and their front end loader. It's a lot of money to spend, and like I said, it goes back on the ratepayer. For every $20,000 spent, give or take, I don't know exact question, the exact answer, it's a penny on the rate. So you're talking 355 grand, and that probably, I'd like to know when that estimate was given. As you know, equipment goes up day to day, never mind if this was, this estimate was got 6 months ago. And without going into executive session, I don't want to ask for
Well, we
that.
can go into executive session.
There's certain things that can't be said on this council floor.
Right, and so people can't make their vote based on things that can't be said on this council floor.
You run your committee the way you want. Bring it out, do what you want. I'm just telling you how I feel. I'd like to have a site visit. I'd like to see it myself, because if I mention something on this floor, it's sour grapes.
Right, but so basically what I'm saying is we can go into executive session, but if we can't, if there's something that we can't say on this council floor to make our vote, then we either go into executive session or we can't consider it.
Well.
So I can make an appointment to see it.
If you do me a favor, make an appointment to see it, and then you can bring it back out after you see it, and you look at it, I look at it, Council Angelo looks at it, and we see if it's worth spending $355,000 on the ratepayers back, if it's not completely necessary.
Do you want to withdraw your second, or would you like to take it out of committee, Counselor Angelo?
What do we feel is best?
Would you like to go on a site visit to see this piece of equipment?
If that's what we feel we need to, I personally thought we took care of this last week with the public hearing and with Courtney coming down, and I thought it was answered, but
I asked questions that weren't asked. The president shut me off on one of the last questions.
all right, I'll withdraw my second.
I'd like to attend that visit.
I'll attend as well, Laura.
All right, I'll set it up, so we won't deal with that right now. So I'd like to call for an adjournment at 7:31.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, we're adjourned.
Transportation and traffic is canceled for this evening.
I'd like to call the IT and Infrastructure Committee to order at, IT is after traffic,
Oh,
at 7:32. I'm only calling the committee to order because I want to call for a public hearing on February 7th. And so if I could have a vote to call for a public hearing on February 7th for, what was the public hearing for? No, it's a committee meeting at 6:30 on February 7th. That's what I'm calling for. No public hearing. Just want to set a committee meeting at 6:30 on February 7th. That's it. And with that, I'll call for an adjournment of the IT and Infrastructure Committee. All in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I declare the IT and Infrastructure Committee adjourned at 7:33.
I think Counselor
Zoning
Conti,
and land use.
while you're there, if you could also cancel zoning and land use.
Oh, I'd like to cancel zoning and zoning and land use.
In a committee meeting,
Abedit, that's all, folks.
a call for a committee meeting on February 7th, 6:30. Yes. Okay.
The zoning and land use is city property and claims.
I thought it was Peter. Oh, Peter already went.
He has to wait.
didn't. I'm way down at the bottom. Save the best for last.
And where am I? Oh, that's why. City Property and Claims Committee has no business tonight. We're canceled.
I guess I'm up. I'd like to call Ordinances, Elections, and Legislative Matters Committee to order at 7:34. With me this evening is Councilor Bennett. Councilor Bennett, the first item that I'd like to dispose of, it pertains to the election, so I'm going to recuse myself and ask that you handle it. It's item from the February 7th, 2023.
Yes, so we don't have a.
I'll be the.
Oh, you'll be the second, okay,
Member pro tem.
perfect. Just give me 1 sec, these are out of order.
Yep.
Okay. From the docket of February 7th, 2023, I entertain a motion to approve the recommendation of Deputy Chief Timothy Cook of the Attleboro Police Department regarding the number of officers needed to staff polling places. The Election Commission referred this to be approved by the council.
Second?
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? I believe the recommendations all went out with the materials at least a few weeks ago, if I remember correctly. If there are no questions, we'll take this to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
That's if you swan on it. Go back.
Thank you. All right, so the only other thing that I wanted to do tonight pertains to the corrections in the water and wastewater rates. So I'm going to start, Councilor Bennett, on page 21. So you maybe recall there was some confusion with prior proposed amendments sent down with incorrect rates. So all we're going to do tonight is correct these amendments so that they reflect what is in fact currently being charged. Are you with me on the top of page 21?
Yes.
Okay. So from the docket of December 6, 2022, I entertain a motion to strike pending business related to item number 20 from the November 15th, 2022 communication, which read 16-11.12. For each meter set, there shall be a minimum charge of $25.30 for each 3 months. The minimum charge shall cover 500 cubic feet of water used at each connection, and excess over 500 cubic feet shall be charged for a rate of $5.51 per 100 cubic feet, effectively July 1st, 2022.
Second.
Thank you. So that's wrong. The calculation is wrong. It shouldn't be 25.30 for 3 months. It should be the amount reflected in the new ordinance section that's going to replace it. So it's just an error. Any questions, comments, concerns? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next up, therefore, I entertain a motion to add the following section. Section 16-1112, water rates. For each meter set, there should be a minimum charge of $27.55 for each 3 months. This minimum charge shall cover 500 cubic feet of water used at each connection. In excess over 500 feet shall be charged for at a rate of $5.51 per 100 cubic feet, effective July 1, 2022.
Second.
Thank you. Again, it just reflects what is in fact actually being charged. Council Condi.
Can you just refresh our memory on how the minimum charge is calculated?
It's just multiplied, if you just multiply 100, it's 5 times the rate. It's a factor. It's
5 times 551.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, that's all. It's just they didn't update the amount, so this is what's actually being charged. Any other questions, comments, concerns about this rate? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Councilor Bennett. And last up, pertaining to the wastewater from the docket of December 6, 2022. I entertain a motion to remove ordinance 16-18 in its entirety and replace with it the following. Section 16-18 sewer use rate. A charge is hereby established for the use of the city's sewer system. Such charge, except as otherwise provided in section 16-18.2 and section 16-18.3 next to below, shall be based on the amount of water supplied to any use of the city's water system as shown by the meter readings. The sewer use charge shall be for sewer users and based on 90% of the water used and shall be charged for at a rate of $10.20 and $11.10 per 100 cubic feet for residential and industrial respectively, with a minimum charge for each 3 months of $45.90. For the first 450 cubic feet, the sewer rates established hereunder shall to be effective July 1, 2022.
Second.
So again, this was just not updated when it should have been updated, so we're just amending the ordinance to reflect reality.
Counselor?
Yes.
Shouldn't there be a differing minimum for residential and commercial?
Well, this is the sewer.
Right? So since we have the sewer rate at $10.20 for residential and $11.10 per 100 cubic foot for industrial, wouldn't the minimum be different for residential than industrial?
I cannot answer that question. So I cannot give you a yes or a no because I don't honestly know the answer. So,
I can rescind my second if we need to
sure enough,
take
I
another
can
look at this.
very quickly, let me do this. Would you mind if we voted out and I amended on the
That's
floor if indeed?
perfectly acceptable.
Okay, I'd rather not,
Yeah,
I'd rather
yeah,
get
yeah.
out. Councilor Ware.
I don't think there is a minimum for the industrial, in my recollection, but, I mean. it
I
would be-
appreciate if you know, but if not, I'll confirm anyway.
I
So if
can't.
you would let us vote it out, Council Conti and Council Blair, and then I'll address any changes on the floor just to move it out. Council Bennett, you good with that?
Yes, I'm fine with that, thank you.
All right, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Council Bennett, that's all I have for this evening. I would move to adjourn at 7:40.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Reporting for the Committee on Public Safety and Emergency Management. I have one motion this evening to bring out. I entertain a motion to approve expending funds in any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program from the Massachusetts EOPSS. There is no match required by the city.
Second.
Thank you. I talked to the chief, this is something we get every year, and I contacted him because I said, I think we just paid for some vests, but they're altogether different. These are the vests that go under the shirt, and they're not as, we just approved some, the shields and vests that go over, but this is a no match. And the state and the feds actually share the cost of that every year, so it's more or less a billing practice. You get what you need and you get it paid for. Any questions or comments? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. I have no other business this evening. Call for an adjournment at 7:42.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Special Committee on Tax Abatement Review is canceled.
And Special Committee on Classification and Compensation is canceled.
That's all. Thanks, everyone.